Hey guys, I'm Bassam and today we're going to read a piece called My Interaction with AngryJoe by Queen of the Feeders. That's a 12-minute read apparently, so let's get started. I've been holding exactly who this was in for over 2 years now, but after seeing other women come forward about other streamers, I decided to come forward about the day/night of April 7th in 2018 at PAX East. PAX East was my first event I was able to go to as a Twitch partner, and I was ecstatic. I have never been and was utterly overwhelmed. I have never been and was utterly overwhelmed. I was meeting so many cool streamers and people who watch my stream that I really felt so welcome. I was meeting so many cool streamers and people who watch my stream that I really felt so welcomed. I eventually went to the Twitch partner party on the night of April 6, 2018, and brought along a friend I will call Alan. It felt nice having a friend I knew at a huge party like that, where we eventually met Markiplier. Markiplier? This name is kind of familiar. Who is that? Hold up. Markiplier. Oh, yes, American YouTuber. Yes, of course. Anyhow, but then eventually I started reaching out and randomly introducing myself to streamers and YouTubers. I figured if that didn't want to talk to me, I'd know and leave them alone. Huh? I figured if that didn't... Okay. Okay, so she wants to come forward about the day night of 7th April and she's talking about 6th April. I don't get that. But okay, let's keep on going. As the night went on, I met a large group of YouTubers, some with millions of subs. I was drinking but still very coherent during this time. This is when I met Joe. He asked if I was a guest and I said I was a smaller partner but I brought my friend. He said cool and asked to follow me and I followed him back and was in awe because he was a larger YouTuber. I'm guessing this is on Twitter or something. Alan and I eventually went back to our Airbnb that we split after I turned down an after party from a friend because I had one too many Long Islands. I did, however, DM everyone I met thanking them and saying I was glad to meet them. Joe ended up replying as seen below, I'll look at that in a second, and inviting me to his panel. I said sure and was clearly oblivious to what the rest of his message meant, but wanted to believe he had no ill intentions. I said sure and was clearly oblivious to what the rest of his message meant. Okay, but okay, so she didn't know the meaning of the message. Oblivious means had no idea, but she wanted to believe he had no ill intentions. I don't think that's how it works, but let's take a look at the message then. Okay, this is Joe Vargas. Hey Joe, I'm so glad to have met you. I was actually the crazy lady dressed to impress. I'll definitely try to stop by your panel tomorrow and I hope we can meet up again, maybe with less alcohol and more time to talk involved. Of course, Ashley, you are such a cute in your 80s gear. I loved that theming. Just got in myself, so heading to bed just now, and def see you at the panel, which I haven't prepared for at all and will likely be a complete disaster. Lol. LOL. Should I say lol or LOL? Oh, whatever. But maybe you can cheer me up after if it sucks balls. For sure, but I guarantee it won't at all. Okay? Okay. Uh, a little bit cringy there, Joe. I'm gonna say that. But, yeah. Let's keep reading. The next day, after walking around, I get a message from him inviting me to a dinner with people from YouTube. Again, I assumed nothing of it and thought it would just be people I met the night before. So, I agreed. I bring Alan with me and we sit through his panel, even though we both didn't watch the AngryJoe show. Okay. After the Q&A, Alan and I stick around and I wanted to ask if Alan could come. Instead, Joe grabs me and says, "We have to go. We have to go. Come with me if you want to live." And he took me away from Alan. Oh no, that must have been dramatic. I look back and just see Alan staring at what just happened as PAX East security is leading us backstage and through this corridor. Which corridor? This corridor? What's so special about it? Anyways, Joe looks at me. Oh wait, I'll stop here. There's a follow-up here. So for sure, I guarantee it won't at all. Okay. Hey Ashley, you want to grab dinner with me? Oh, that's the day. Hey Ashley, you want to grab dinner with me and some people from YouTube after the panel? For sure, panel stands right. Fine, okay. Whatever. Okay, is there a continuation to that? Okay, no, I don't think so. Okay, so Joe looks at. No, wait. The next day, after walking around, I get a message from him inviting. Wait. Through this corridor. Yes! Jesus. Joe looks at me and says, "I can't believe you came." Okay, and just smiled and I said, "Yeah, of course. You asked me to." You asked me to? You asked me to. Hmm. You know, what's your name again? Queen of Feeders. You should really read yourself again, okay? Like, he then begins to brag that he can only really travel this way around PAX East or he'd get swarmed. Yeah. Weird flex, but okay. I just laugh and say, "Yeah, I guess that's what happens when people like that's what happened or that's what happens. I don't know, Jesus. When people like you." Security eventually leads us to a back door and we end up outside. He attempts to flag a cab down, but people recognize him and take pictures. He smiles and does it, then we get in the cab. He complains the entire time how it smells and how he usually only travels with Uber Black. What's Uber Black? Or with cars YouTube sends for him. I just nod my head because again, I'm just a small streamer. I just a small streamer who barely had money to come in the first place and felt like I was about to blow my entire food budget on one meal to eat with these YouTubers. Joe begins to freak out and I ask him what was wrong. He started to say he lost his phone and was afraid a fan had it and couldn't believe it. Oh no. No, you didn't, Joe. He asked for my phone and called his phone. It ended up being in his pocket. Joe? He laughed and said, "Oh geez," then just plucked away at his phone. I didn't think anything of it, but realized he now had my number. Ugh. Cha-cha, real smooth, Joe. Smooth. Smooth. Okay, so instead of a restaurant, we end up in front of his hotel. He says it's fine, it would only be a moment, so I get out and walk with him inside. We walk to the hallway and I stayed there, but little Joe, and Joe himself, invites me. Okay, they invite me. Little Joe and Joe. I'm guessing that's. Oh, wait. Is it. Is it other Joe? Or the PP of Joe? Of AngryJoe? I'm not sure here. Okay, but Little Joe and Joe himself invite me inside to sit down, so I'm not standing in a hallway myself, so I do. Little Joe. Okay, I really think it's other Joe. I can see why she would call him Little though. Again, I'm assuming he doesn't have bad intentions and didn't want to be that person that says, "Hey, are you trying to sleep with me? I have a boyfriend, you know." When he was just being nice. So I stay quiet and say, "Sure, sure." And I say sure. I say, "Okay." I'm just standing around and he ends up taking a shower and asking me to join him. I laugh and say, "You're funny." And he replied along the lines of saying he knew and the offer was on the table if I decided he wasn't joking. A little smoother than before, that's for sure. I stay standing and keep pacing. He eventually comes out dressed but invited me to sit next to him, and I'm like, okay. So I sit at the foot of the bed. And he keeps asking if I'm nervous, and I said yes. I thought we were going to leave, and it is a bit weird. It is. He says there's nothing weird, I'm just waiting until they get the table to put me at ease. He starts asking about how I started streaming and just small talk, then starts showing me pictures of his car and other things. But he does so in a way where I have to get close enough that I'm pretty much next to him on the bed. Okay. He then said, "Say cheese," and snapped a picture of me next to him on the bed, and I laughed nervously, but asked if he could go. He said, "Yep," got up, called Little Joe to tell him we are leaving. Okay, thank God. It's other Joe, I think. To tell him we are leaving, and we went downstairs and got in a cab. I'm in this cab and he's telling me how I like this place. At this point, I don't care how much it costs or what it is, I'm just glad someone else will be there. Oh my god. I bring out my phone and Joe tells me to put it away and to enjoy the time with him, so I do, assuming that he finds it rude, so I try to respect that. Okay, why is it... Okay, we, please capitalize after your sentences, Jesus! We finally get to this restaurant and Joe, okay, capitalize his name, oh my god, starts telling me how expensive it is and how hard it is to get a table. I'm a bit nervous again because I didn't have much money, but I keep that to myself because I agreed to come and I'm not going to expect anyone to pay for my food. As we are walking inside, Joe turns to me and said, "I have to tell them you're my girl." And I look at him, but I look at him like I didn't understand because I assumed we were just meeting YouTubers. He repeats it and just said, "Go along with it," then dragged me in. Okay? Interesting. Once inside, he starts shaking people's hands. I don't recognize anyone. He introduces me as his girl and doesn't mention my name once. I sit down and try to see if maybe I can remember who they were, but can't. Joe starts talking about YouTube and his account. I quickly realize he's talking to someone who manages his account, and everyone else at the table are executives or people who specifically deal with AngryJoe. Like Little Joe. Little Joe. Sorry, other Joe, if you ever see that. I had absolutely no business being at this lunch. Wait, I thought it was dinner. Anyways, I stare at my plate the whole time and only look up when Joe feels the need to include me in a conversation or to nudge me. I attempt to contact Alan or my boyfriend, but Joe pushed my phone away and said it's rude to do that. Excuse me. So I put it away and he wouldn't get mad. Eventually, one of the execs asks me what my YouTube channel was and asked for my business card. I told him I don't have a business card and I don't really do YouTube. He said I should start, and when I do, to let him know. He hands me his business card. Eventually, Joe, that's a good opportunity. Eventually, Joe gets up and says he has a party he has to go to. He motions me to get up, and the executives all stand up and tell Joe bye. Huh? Okay. And wave goodbye to me. That's a bit weird. Joe is an okay streamer, AngryJoe, YouTuber, but I don't think YouTube execs will get up for him. He's not the fucking queen. Anyhow, Joe then turned to me and said, "Wasn't that nice?" Then we get into a cab that little Joe is sitting. Oh my god! Damn you, queen of feeders! Now every time I will see other Joe OJ, I will think of Little Joe, and then I'll think of AngryJoe's pee-pee because of your shitty writing. Curse you! Is sitting into when in the cab, Joe is talking about us going to Whiskey's for a party, and I finally think, thank God, because I remember Alan saying there was a huge party there. By this time, 5 hours have passed, and I haven't been able to use my phone once to tell Alan or my boyfriend if I was okay. We finally get to Whiskey's. I wanna see what that is. Whiskey's? No. Damn it. Place. Party. What is Whiskey's? Okay, I don't care. I will never know. So, to Whiskey's for a party, and I finally think, thank God, okay, 5 hours. We finally get to Whiskey's, and I realize it's much smaller than what Alan has described. I said, this is Whiskey's, and Joe replies, yep, there's 2 of them. My heart immediately sank knowing that we weren't at the one where I could finally meet up with people I knew. Joe whisked me inside, and everyone inside greats. Jesus Christ, greets him, not grates him, and little Oh god. Joe then grabs my purse and phone and hands it to someone where I can't see, and eventually I'm unable to find for several hours. Okay. Joe starts to introduce me. Okay, what is this? Hey, good meeting you yesterday at Whiskey's. How was the rest of it? Also, I just saw your tweets about yesterday. I'm sorry you had to hear. Okay, this is probably something for later, so I'll read it when it's mentioned, if it's ever mentioned. Joe starts to introduce me to game developers and some of his close friends. I nod my head and say hi, hand out what cards I had, and do what I need to. What cards? Hold up. She said she didn't have business cards, if that's what she's talking about. I don't know. This entire time, I was unable to buy my own drinks, and Joe has his hands around me or on me as much as he can. Okay, if I'm not glued to him, he had to find me and make it known to whatever male I spoke to that he didn't want them thinking anything other that I was going home with him. I drink some, but eventually hand my drinks off whenever Joe wasn't looking, and would try to find my stuff when Joe would go to the bathroom. I eventually grabbed my phone and went outside, sent a text to Alan asking him to help, then called my boyfriend. My boyfriend was clearly upset because I hadn't talked to him for 7-8 plus hours. I tell him what was happening, and he couldn't believe I was talking about the Angry Joe. I tell him how weird he is being, but all of a sudden Joe spun me around and started interrogating me about who I was talking to. I lie and say was I lie and say Alan. He starts getting angry and said your boyfriend, and I lie and say no. Alan is drunk, so I called him because I can tell Joe is drunk and pissed. Joe then asks me what Alan's Twitter handle is to prove he is not only real but is at PAX East. Alan? What? Alan is drunk, so I called him. Alan, it's the friend. Yeah. I tell him, he looks it up, then says whatever's, and tells me to come inside while he turns away and walks into. My boyfriend tells me to leave, and I tell him my purse is still inside. I need money to get a cab. I go to walk inside and had two people I met before stop me along with Joe. What? I go to walk inside and had two people I met before stop me along with Joe. Hold up. I go to walk inside and had two people I met before stop me along with Joe. Okay. Joe starts telling me it's not safe to go back to the Airbnb with Alan because Alan is drunk and he might rape me. I thought Alan was a girl. Jesus. Anyways, I say no way he's my friend and I just want to make sure he gets inside okay. Joe starts to say what kind of man needs help? If he can't handle his alcohol, he doesn't deserve to drink any. Makes sense, I guess. The two people agree and repeat I would be much better off staying with Joe. I repeat again I need to get back and that friends check on other friends just like he's doing for me now. A lie, but I can tell he's furious. Eventually the two people went inside and Joe pulled me off to the side out of sight from the bouncer. Everyone at the bar pushed me against the wall and asked me what my idea was. I replied I had no idea what he meant, and he replied, "You're no better than every other girl. I thought you were better than that." I look at him in shock and says, "You're no better than every other girl who uses me to get contacts and to grow their platform." I immediately deny all of this and tell him I'll give every business card back and say exactly what I thought we were supposed to do. He shakes his head, and during my explanation, he says, "Nope, you're just like them all." And as if he's trying to make me feel bad for something I didn't do. He then said, "After I do all this for you, you meet my friends, I take you to dinner that YouTube paid for. Yeah, I pay for everything and you leave me hanging. The least you could do is come back with me." I immediately say I can't and have to go. He then reminds me not to tell anyone because it would ruin his reputation and mine as well. Some people came outside and asked if we were okay, and I said yes and ran inside to grab my purse. Joe then offers to pay for my cab, to which I say no thanks because I didn't want him knowing where I was staying at all. He then replied that's surprising and then walked back in the bar. I walk 4 or 5 blocks away and order my own cab so he can't see me and start to cry. I eventually get back to my Airbnb. What is Airbnb? Hold up. I'm not from America, so most of these things are okay. American online marketplace, San Francisco. Okay. I see what this is. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so go back to my Airbnb where Alan was and just cry and tell him everything I told you. You didn't tell us shit. Alan was pissed, but I told him not to say or do anything because I literally had no proof that he said or did any of that. I then tweeted about what happened without naming him and ended up leaving PAX East a day early because I was afraid to see him again. I ended up getting an Instagram message from a developer I met at Whiskey's, and then he tells me and he tells me that he now realizes what happened, but that at the time he didn't see it for what it was, and that I was right. No one would believe me because I had no proof. I kept this person anonymous as well as I did Alan unless they come forward, but I know I will most likely be attacked for be attacked for even posting this. My only beef with you, girl, is your shitty writing skills. That's my beef. That's why I would quote unquote attack you. Please, the least thing you can do, and I'm betting you are a um, English speaker, mother tongue and all that, you should reread your shit. Please. It makes me mad. The screenshots of the Instagram conversations are below. Okay, so all these, they're not below, they're on the side. Okay, so basically, you're right. Uh, I'm losing my patience here. I'll finish her thing. Okay, I was working with an esports organization. Okay, before and notified the owner, to which I also won't name. They offered me to back me and support me as much as they could, and told me how long. I told them how long ago it happened and the proof I had. They too agreed that I would end up getting dragged and nothing but negativity would come if I came forward, but that they would support me. Really? Okay, so a company says, okay, nothing good can come of this, but we're gonna support you. Anyways, interesting. What a nice company. I really want to work there in that case. I then informed them my best. Okay, wait. I then informed them my best route was to inform the company that is representing him and try to handle this as professionally as possible, since I have no way to prove he said or did anything. I did, and the company apologized and said they would handle it. Nothing else has come of it, and while I tweet every once in a while warning people, I have been too scared to come forward. The only thing you should be scared of is your English skills, woman. I understand my proof relies on a few DMs between Joe Vargas and I, as well as Instagram messages from someone I don't have the heart to name, unless the come forward. But this is all I have. He has done this before. I have no doubt in my mind he has done this to other women in the industry. Everything he did, he had a reason behind it. That's how things work. Everything anyone does, it's for a reason. Okay, anyways, I'm sure he'll deny it all, but he didn't lose his phone for nothing. Yeah, that was very cheesy if it happened, Joe, yeah? He didn't have us take pictures for nothing. He planned it so if I ever did come forward, I would look like I was 100% willing and he had the proof, while all I had was the word of a small streamer compared to his millions of followers. Huh? You should compare yourself to him, not his followers. Anyways, I honestly have nothing to lose by coming forward and finally saying who did this to me. I'm still a small partner slash streamer who streams for fun, goes to school full time, and has a career as a programmer ahead of me. Yeah. Regardless of all the hate I may or may not receive, I hope that anyone else that he has hurt or coerced into sex/sexual acts because of what he has done for you, just know that you're not alone. Just know you're not alone. It has bothered me every day since it has happened, and that you can talk to me and not worry about me saying anything or feeling like no one will understand you. I am here for you. To everyone else, please take what you will from this, and know predators come in every form, regardless of how much you like them or think you may know them. While this may kill whatever streaming career I may have had, I don't regret speaking up now. I only Wish I had done so sooner and apologize to anyone he may have assaulted since April 7th, 2018. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, that's this phrase. Okay. You apologize to anyone he may have assaulted since April 7, 2018, which is, I guess, yes, the date you were assaulted. But if he allegedly assaulted other people before, nah, you don't care about that. You only care since the day you were assaulted. Really? Is that how you're gonna do it? Queen of the feeders? Really? Really? No, 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 no. I just read this. Okay? I just read this in this entirety of it. I didn't read the DMs because I don't the other DMs here because I'm too tilted. Excuse me, my mic fell. Wait. Oh. And okay, if you want to be taken seriously, and that's advice for anybody, you better write well. You better not make mistakes. Okay? You better call people the real names or their known names, not Little Joe. Little Joe, Jesus. Okay? This is priceless. I have to go back to it. I must show you again. Can't believe you came. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, this is priceless. We walk to the hallway and I stay there, but Little Joe himself invites me inside to sit down, so I'm not. Okay. Little Joe himself. Okay. Little Joe himself. Is that other Joe? Or is that Joe's penis? I'm still not sure. I'm 90, 80%, 70% sure that she means other J, but this makes no sense because later on Joe will shower allegedly with her in the room. I don't think other Joe's there. So I'm just confused. It makes no sense to me. If anyone understands this, please write in the comment. What can I say? I can't take you seriously. There is no way this will be taken seriously. Anyone who reads this and sees these mistakes and some grammatical errors and some syntax errors and some sentence don't even make sense, you're never gonna be taken seriously. As simple as that. Be coherent. Sexual assault and predators are a very bad thing. And if anyone thinks they can get away with it, let me tell you this. Bill Clinton, the fucking president of the fucking United States of America, he got accused of that and he was ejected. Sure, he resigned or whatever, but if the president of the United States can't escape sexual harassment allegations, no one can. And it's a serious matter and it's bad. But when you come forward after being a victim of an assault, you have to be coherent and write it in a way that will make people take you seriously. Okay? That's my first thing. Please, I suggest you reread that and rewrite it. That will only help you. Now, there are a lot of holes in this. Like the storytelling of this, I will call it storytelling because I'm sorry, I don't believe any. I believe that Joe wasn't very smooth. He may have done some cha-cha smooth things, especially the phone thing. That is something I really think he'd do. Oh no, I lost my phone. Please call my phone now. Oh, it was in my pocket. Haha. Wow, I'm so silly. Haha. Yes, he would do that. He would definitely. I imagine he would definitely do that. But yeah, the shower thing. Okay, let me tell you something. If you were uncomfortable at any moment, especially when he invited you into the shower, the first thing you should have done is, at the instant he entered the shower and invited you, you just walked away. He's not gonna chase you naked. He meant little Joe. They're not gonna chase you. Yeah, they're not gonna chase you down the hotel room. So you could have left since then, because that was the alleged first red flag. Oh Jesus. And yeah, other than that, yeah, you said here there are, listen, this is getting too long. I will, if this gets traction, I will make another video and I will dissect this. But for now, that's it. I'm Bassam and I hope you enjoyed this. See ya.